The City of Parkersburg and Wood County Home Consortium is awarding nearly $146,000 in Home American Rescue Plan funds to Legal Aid of West Virginia aimed at preventing homelessness in Wood County. The near $146,000 grant will support Legal Aid of West Virginia's eviction, prevention, and home education efforts, helping eligible families facing housing instability. Supervising Attorney John Williams says the partnership has been in the works for years as local leaders push to focus more resources on housing. The funding will cover about half the cost of an attorney position for 2 years, dedicated to housing laws, outreach, and education. Williams says the goal isn't only to fight evictions in court, but to help people understand the rules before problems spiral into an eviction notice.
Housing is your foundation, right? If your community is housed, then there's 1,000 other concerns you can address. But before you address anything, you need to address housing. If you can get them situated, get them into stable housing, it usually allows for them to start working on the underlying issues, whether it's addiction or employment-related matters. Those kind of concerns can only be resolved if you're not wondering where you're going to sleep at night.
Legal Aid will match the other half of the attorney's salary, which Williams says will also help support housing-related cases in surrounding counties served by the Parkersburg office. Williams says once the position is filled, they plan to hit the ground running with the goal of keeping more Wood County residents safely housed.